And welcome back to Riverlea. It is freezing out here, but I tell you what, it's hotting up because of all the activity that's taking place. And I can tell you that tactical response team I was telling you about earlier, parked further down the road, the number of cars has increased drastically. So as I understand, there might be an operation going in to the actual operation, the mining operation behind us. But of course, we still continue to bring you up to speed with what's happening on the ground with the community. I've also got elected representatives by way of councillors here, but I want to start with members of the community very quickly, just to get what their sense is and what they feel about what's been happening here. So if you could just quickly start by giving me your name very shortly and, you know, your perspective of what's happening in your area.
My name is Besieged. This area is very volatile at the moment because of all the zamas and the shooting. So the community's lives is all in danger at the moment. So we need more reinforcements. The minister was over here and not much has been done. So we actually need more reinforcements.
So you say not much has been done. What would you like to see done?
We would actually like to see the army come in and barricade this place off. That's the only way out, only the army.
And as a community, would you be happy to live under the conditions that that would come with?
Yes, for safety, definitely. For safety, definitely.
Ma'am, you?
My name is Theo Doyle. Also, we're living in fear. I would also want the army to come in, more manpower, as well as also a warning. Remember, we live in the middle, and these zamas are surrounding our community. So one of the main things that they must do, they must look at their risk. If they do come in with all this manpower, at the moment we've got 3 rivals fighting amongst each other. The 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th is going to be added because we want a solution. But then also the solution will come with our safety. So we want the community to be locked down.
The councillors, where are the councillors? Have they been working? Have they been making sure that at least the situation gets dealt with?
I don't think the councillors can do much at this stage. Their hands are tied. So we need higher powers to actually come in and take control, because Riverlea has been left for years and no one is listening to us. We've been dumped over here on a mine dump with gas pipes under, and no one is bothering about Riverlea. Our cries are not being heard.
Right, and that's the community and their voices and what they feel. So let's come to the elected representatives to find out what's going on here, and of course what they have been trying to do in order to try and assist the community and also deal effectively with that situation in Msimelelo. It hasn't been dealt with, but let's hear what's been attempted so far. So I'm joined right now by Councillor of Ward 68, that's Mr. Msimelelo Lobi from the ANC. Thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live. This is your ward. With the situation as it is right now, how do you feel about the fact that your community is not safe?
Good morning, Sakile. Good morning to the residents of Ward 68 at large. You can say it's very, very, very terrible. As Ward 68 councillor elected, I've went through Msimelelo. Residents, they can feel when those illegal miners are mining. Their shacks have holes. You know, Msimelelo is becoming a no-go area, highly dangerous in South Africa, within the ward. So I think what we just need is the army to rescue us from this. Because as the city, we know and we categorize Msimelelo informal settlement as category C. That means it must be relocated. It is dangerous for it to be there. We cannot do any services. We cannot renovate it or do anything to it. It must be relocated. That's how dangerous it is, Msimelelo. As one of the community members have said, there is gas. There is a high pressurized water pipes from rainwater. So if these illegal miners, they can hit those pipes, then we'll be having another street here in Msimelelo, and all this community will go down. So it's highly, highly risky.
So Theo Doyle from the Patriotic Alliance, also a councillor in the city of Johannesburg. How serious is this matter? Does the city of Johannesburg actually prioritize what's going on here? Or is this just a case of something has happened and now we're here?
Good morning, Sakine, and good morning to the viewers also. The city of Joburg is quite aware what's happening currently here, but remember now, this is now on local level, city of Joburg. But the issues that the community is facing here currently, we need national intervention. I tried my utmost best to raise awareness, including the community members as well. I've managed to locate the landlord that own most of the land around the mine. So they showed me some documents, interdicts, that they were interdicting the Minister of Mineral Resources, Gweda Mantashe, to come and seal that mine. I believe that will be a solution to seal that mine. The number two is also to come out, the Minister of Home Affairs must come out. Majority of the people opposite in the informal settlement is not documented. That is another issue also. As the councillor mentioned now also, another very important issue which is very critical, I must stress this, Sakina, is that underground, those illegal miners is using dynamite. Sasol gas lines is running here in Riverlea, right up to F&B Stadium. Then there's Transnet pipelines running also. Now, God forbid, gas and dynamite, that will be a disaster. We don't even want to think of that. So from my side, from the community side at large, together we are trying our utmost best to push this. That's why we are actually grateful for the media to be here on the ground to come and drive awareness. Council has raised this also with province and with national. The ball is now in the court of the Minister of Police, Minister of Mineral Resources, Minister of Home Affairs, Minister of Intelligence.
So next up is, of course, Mr. Solomon Maila from the Democratic Alliance. If the situation is, of course, as precarious as the councillors are pointing it out to be, why is it then that National does not seem to be taking this seriously?
Good morning, Sakina, and good morning to the viewers at home. It's a question that is boggling the mind. I mean, we come to Riverlea almost every day. We have been making all of the calls that needed to be made for national government intervention. I was here last week in this very spot. I shot a video, and then the very next day, on the 27th of July, I released a media statement, and I am happy that the Minister of Police found it befitting that he should come and be in Riverlea 2 days ago. And we believe that he came to Riverlea as a direct consequence of the calls that we have been making. We do not understand why the Minister of Police and Cabinet more broadly is dragging their feet to deal with this particular matter. I agree with my colleagues that this problem in Riverlea is now attaining the proportions of a national security threat. People are dying here. There are bodies picked up almost on a daily basis because of the Zamazamas who live right behind us in the Zawimpilo informal settlement. From what we have been able to gather, more than 80% of the people who live in Zawimpilo are actually foreign nationals. As to why national government is not closing down all of these holes across the area boggles the mind.
So what I gather from the community, Mr. Maila, is that during the 2010 World Cup, they tell me that this Zawimpilo informal settlement was actually fenced and there was security around the area. And for some reason, unbeknownst to them, it was decided by the then mayor, Herman Mashaba, that that situation was not conducive. And that is what led to the proliferation of the sort of activity that we see now, because then it became a free-for-all and you had that influx. So as councillors in the city, what happened? What was wrong with the situation as it was, and why did you feel the need to remove that security that was stationed here previously?
Well, I wouldn't know as to what led to the decision to remove the security that was stationed here previously, but like we have been saying, the situation here in Riverlea now, requires the intervention of national government, the police, and maybe supported by the South African National Defence Force.
Okay.
The Minister of...
We can talk about that as much as we like, but I want to know from you, as councillors in the city, Mr. Lobi, if we can just get the mic to you there, with regard to your communication with national government.
Yes.
Are you able to give us specifics in terms of what the response has been from national government, so that when we speak to them, we can actually put specifics to them?
Okay. Okay, we on my side, as the Office of the Ward Councillor, I tried to send several emails to our mineral minister, to the minerals DMR, because there was a sinkhole that happened here at Zamimpilo, on the other side of Zamimpilo. The soil just went down. That was an alarm that this place is dangerous. So I did write an email to the office of the minister, as well as to the office of safety. We on my side, we are trying our level best.
But was there a response?
No response up until today.
So when there's no response, how do you escalate?
Because we are local government, so as local government we can go as far up to the mayor's office. Then because that is another level sphere of government. So when it comes to your provincial, then you need to go direct to their offices, of which there is nothing much that can be done.
But
if they don't not
is there
respond.
Anything that precludes you from actually writing to the president, from going higher, because you are elected to represent this community?
Yes.
And if the people at local level are not responding, surely you have a responsibility to escalate the matter.
Yes, yes, I do have that responsibility to write to the president's office. But if there is no response, there is no way where I can escalate, because ours is limited up until local government.
Well, I tell you what, Mr. Doyle, I'll come back to you in a second. Just taking a look at what's happening behind us here. So, as I said to you, there is quite a lot of police visibility in the area this morning. So many vehicles parked down the road, and I can see the police have actually crossed the road into Zamimpilo and walking seemingly with some of the people that they have gathered. Not sure if these are actual Zamazamas, but as you can see, the police here are already starting to gather. I think these may be some of the people that they have rounded up. They are in fact coming in our direction. But just as they do that, Mr. Doyle, the same question, as councillors, as elected representatives, it's not good enough to say I've written to whoever and whoever. If there is no response, if there's no action to your cry, to your plea, you have a responsibility to take it further.
Yes, I fully agree with you, Sakine. And as I'm standing here and thinking the same thing, as a collective, this is not politics, this is community that is affected currently. So as a collective, as PR councillors, as ward councillors, we must put our hands together and then approach the necessary authority. Can it be the president directly? As long as we get urgent response to this community, which is very, very important. The community of Riverlea is tired of living under siege. This thing is causing havoc in the community. And we are actually glad that this thing is getting the necessary media exposure that is receiving currently now. So as a collective, I believe, Ward Councillor Msimelelo Lobi, we're going to work together and then approach the necessary authority, the office of the president, together to make sure this thing is addressed, Sakina.
Indeed. So what we are seeing, of course, is the police starting to actually effect some arrests and gathering up some of the Zamazamas who are coming out. And we've been seeing that since this morning, early in the morning, where people are coming out. I think there's about 3 or 4 of them that we saw pass behind us right now, police taking them into one of their vehicles. So we will keep an eye on this situation. We'll probably move a little further down just to get a better vantage point. But of course, the MMC has promised he's taking us into Zamimpilo. So we're going to cross into the township, the informal settlement, just to see what's going on there. And it is dangerous, and it's a very tense situation here in Riverlea. But it is also our responsibility to make sure that we actually highlight the plight of this community in what they are going through on a daily basis. So we're going to send you back to studio for the latest news with Leanne, and then we'll come back here to show you what is happening.